Thank you for braving the traffic, the parking situation to be here today. My name is Steve Gray. I'm the faculty director of the Herb Kelleher Entrepreneurship Center. And I'd like to thank all of you for being here to see these innovative startups that we'll get to hear from later today that represent the best undergraduate-led startups across the 40 acres. The mission of the Herb Kelleher Entrepreneurship Center is to make entrepreneurship accessible to all Longhorns, and the objective of the Freed Family Pitch Competition is to identify the best undergraduate-led startups and to provide the resources that will fuel their growth. The HKEC would like to express our sincere gratitude to Billy Freed and the Freed family for generously offering an endowment for this competition. So a round of applause for Billy and the Freed family. As a result of their generosity, this event provides the single largest non-dilutive funding opportunity for undergraduate entrepreneurs at UT. This is a big deal. This year we received 112 applications for this competition. From those 112, we narrowed it down to 16 semifinalists. We hosted a semifinalist round last week. From that semifinalist round, 4 finalists were chosen to participate today in the finals round. We also have other teams from the semifinals who are going to be here and participating in an elevator pitch competition as well. In terms of format, the finals round will include 10 minutes of presentation time and then 10 minutes of Q&A time with the judges. The judges will evaluate the pitches along a wide variety of criteria. Things, for example, include problem definition, solution, innovativeness, achievability, and overall presentation quality. At the conclusion of the 4 pitches, the judges will deliberate in private to decide the winners for this year's competition. And during that process, 9 elevator pitch contestants will come up and in 2-minute pitches present their ventures to a separate panel of judges who will award additional prizes. We'll also have an audience choice award based upon the elevator pitches, and we'll include detailed instructions about how that works, but you all will get to weigh in and offer your perspective on the elevator pitches too. At this time, I would like to invite the esteemed judges to come up on stage to join me and introduce themselves to our audience. So judges, come on up if you would.
First of all, congrats to everyone that is pitching today. The fact that you are here on this stage means that you have something special. So shake off the nerves, and we can't wait to hear about it. So I'm Whitney. I will be judging the elevator pitches. I'm actually the director of the Kendra Scott Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership Institute here at the University of Texas. Additionally, I'm a founder and prior CEO of Daybird, and now sit as an advisor on the board. And as well, did my undergrad here. So I am a fellow Longhorn. I did my MBA at Chicago Booth, and then I worked, for now 15 years in consumer, largely on the marketing side. So various companies like Red Bull, building startups for 1-800-CONTACTS in the vision industry. Curology, which is a skincare startup out of San Francisco that is later stage, and then also sat on the other side of the table as an investor at Listen Ventures, investing in early stage consumer companies, seed and Series A. So very excited to be here. Best of luck to you all, and can't wait to see it.
Hello, I'm Ellis Winstanley. I'm also judging the elevator pitch. Attended UT from 2000, graduated roughly 2004, 2003-ish, 2004, finished up. But company's Nara Ventures. Managing partner of it. I got started turning around distressed brands while I was in college at the University of Texas, graduated with a couple of them under my belt. Now we are in real estate, enterprise software, SaaS enterprise software, construction, sourcing, and staffing. Our companies are in Texas, in Latin America, principally Costa Rica and Mexico.
Congratulations to everyone who's here in the final round. My name's Brent Luby. I'm a two-time Longhorn. I did my mechanical engineering degree here a lifetime ago, and then took the circuitous path to the day that that we're making an acquaintance. Momentary lapse of reason, I left the private sector, went and joined the Marine Corps, and flew gray jets all over the planet for 21 years, and then decided I didn't want to fly anymore commercially. So I came back here, executive MBA program, and took this little class that changed the course of my life called New Venture Creation. Some of y'all may have heard of that. And what would become a world-class brand. We started a little distillery out in Driftwood. I don't know if anybody's heard of Desert Door, but we're the first commercial distiller of Sotol in the United States since Prohibition. And what would become this little distillery was our class project. And look forward to hearing what you guys have to pitch. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Christina Cashman, proud graduate from 1988 of the Texas Business School. I also was a student athlete here, so I was a member of the women's volleyball team while I was here. And I was part of P.F. Chang's back in 1996 when we started with 4 restaurants and grew to about $1 billion. So I'm very familiar with growing from small to big. I was Chief Financial Officer in my last 5 years there, and I currently serve on several board of directors, chair the audit committees, Bassett Furniture, Vera Bradley, Munchkin, and I'm the CEO of Guy and Larry Restaurants. And if none of you know exactly what that is, it is an Austin-based company. We have Red Ash, ATX, Roaring Fork, Salty Sal, a number of restaurants here locally in Austin. So look forward to hearing these wonderful opportunities that you're going to present to us today.
Hey, y'all, I'm Robert Alvarez. Love startups, have mad respect for founders. I've been working with the founders for, I'm going to age myself, 30 years. Then 5 startups, 2 went public, 3 were acquired. My first startup actually started at UT back in 94, 95. I worked at Dell, and Dell was still a startup, believe it or not. It was even before Round Rock. I'm 51 years old now, and I'm actually starting my own company. So I am now going to be a founder just like all y'all. So excited to see y'all's pitches and learn from you guys. So good to be here. Thanks.
Good afternoon. I'm Carl Carter. First, I look forward to learning something. I think part of life is that we're always learning. We're always looking for insight. So I'm so excited. Congrats for being here. Y'all have all done something that no one can ever take away from you. So I am also a graduate of the University of Texas, got out in 1992. I've been in multiple industries, most recently energy. I've co-founded an energy company, and we grew that to a point where we sold it several times to several publicly traded companies. Good luck today. You're joined by some great. This is one of those hard act to follow type of speeches. You're in the company of true entrepreneurs, and it's going to be a great afternoon. Thanks so much.
Let's give a big round of applause for our judges. Thank you. A big thank you to our judges for supporting this event. It's an important and essential and critical element of having a successful competition. So thank you. I want to thank all of our supporters, all of you in the audience. I want to thank our advisory board for helping support this event as well. I want to take an opportunity to thank our professional and student staff of the HKEC for putting together this amazing event. I mean, look at the balloons. I mean, that's incredible, right? All the swag as well. So thank you to all of them. I'd also like to kind of thank all of the student teams that have participated so far in this event. Thank you for all the hard work that you've put in. We're excited that you get a chance to show it all off today. One of the kind of key features of today's event is that we'll be doing raffle prizes in between all of the pitches. So the presenters will get a chance to draw a ticket from the raffle. So hopefully you all have a ticket and have a chance to earn a door prize. So without further ado, we're going to welcome our first team onto the stage. So eye care, come on up. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for spending your precious time with us today. I am Johnny Chan, and this is my partner, Ian Vaughn. And today, we are excited to share with you eye care, vision without a paid word. First of all, I would like to ask everyone to take off your glass if you have one. And even if you don't have one, that's okay. Now, visual impairment disproportionately affect people in low-income regions and hinder the social upward mobility. Visually impaired students have 44% chance higher of dropping out compared to those who do not have one. Moreover, untreated visual impairment have caused more than $400 billion loss in productivity annually and increase the chance of developing anxiety or depression by 5 times. As you can see, untreated visual impairment affects every aspect of a patient's life, from school, work, to psychologies. So, giving them a pair of glasses will help solve the issue, right? Before answering this question, I would like to do a quick poll. Please raise your hand if you ever buy a pair of glasses for you or someone you know. And keep your hand raised if the price of the glass is $100 or more, with or without insurance. At first glance, it seems like this high number of costs is the reason behind why there's so many people who are visually impaired, right? Well, it turned out a pair of glasses can be produced at a cost as low as $5, and there are numerous non-profit organizations who are putting an endless effort into bringing this glass to the patient who need it the most. But here's the catch. They need the patient's glass prescription. Currently, phoropter are the medical device that ophthalmologists use to prescribe glass for patients. There are 2 types of phoropter, the traditional phoropter and the digital phoropter, both of which are accurate, provide reliable prescription, and very durable. So, with such high advancement in technology, why are there still so many people who lack access to eye care? To answer this question, we had the opportunity to visit Ha Giang, Vietnam, one of the poorest regions in the world. This picture, which I took, was a 6-hour drive away from Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam, where most of the medical devices are. But here is where we went to, over there. With an elevation of almost 1 mile, and the twisting and turning narrows that's only enough to fit 1 car, it took us an extra 14 hours to get to this community so that we can provide help. It turned out the bright path to a clear future lies behind a costly and heavy option, where phoropter costs from $3,000 to $22,000 and weight from 12 to 25 pounds, making it impossible to be maintained in these hard-to-reach regions. Therefore, we envision a phoropter that's low cost, easy to use, and portable, so that we can deliver eye care to those who need it the most. And with our mechanical liquid lens phoropter, we have been able to reduce the price from $22,000, not to $2,000, not to $200, but to $150 and only 2 pounds.
So, how did we do it? The traditional phoropter switches between dozens of lenses to narrow down a patient's prescription. But because of this, the weight and the cost add up significantly. So much so that even just a last mile delivery cost is inaccessible to the communities such as in Ha Giang. Our liquid lens phoropter uses the simple combination of liquid and pressure to change just 3 lenses to a variety of curvatures to match a person's prescription. Furthermore, we developed a lightweight and low-cost machine that is far more portable than its predecessor. Don't just take it from us. Take it from the countless physicians we interviewed, including one who stated that our device has the potential to transform lives and restore hope and vision to many, including others. We aim to sell directly to 3 different groups. First, volunteer groups who have a vested interest in increasing visual care to these remote regions. Second, larger nonprofit organizations such as Unite for Sight, Eyes on Africa, and Doctors Without Borders. And lastly, community clinics that are focused on not maximizing their profits, but creating the largest impact possible in their communities. So far, we've been fortunate enough to receive international recognition at the Rice 360 Design Competition, conduct our preliminary patent search, undertake our health assessment trip in Ha Giang, Vietnam, partner with a faculty member, Dr. Panda, partner with a local ophthalmologist and NOA Labs, a Hong Kong-based manufacturer, and most recently, we were inducted into the Southwestern Region NSF I-Corps, a prestigious program aimed at bridging the gap between research and entrepreneurship. Currently, we are in the process of applying for our patent, but once we are done with the patent, we will proceed to FDA trials. While this is not needed outside of America, this serves us 2 purposes. First, to an international audience who may not know exactly who we are, simply hearing that we pass the American standards is a huge way to build credibility and trust to allow these people to try our product. Secondly, with FDA approval, we significantly open the number of doors we can to gain fundraising. So for example, many government grants require FDA approval, and similarly, many international grants also require something similar. All this is happening, we'll continue our fundraising effort so we're able to fund the rest of our patent application, finish our research and development, and get our production going, so that one day we're able to distribute to our partners, get their feedback, and continue optimizing our product to create the best possible solution to our patients. Our product costs $55 to produce, and using the Vietnamese rate, it'll take a further $15 to ship to these remote locations, leaving us with a gross profit of $80. In the first year, we will sell to our partners whom we've already established contact with. So this will be 100 units, 1 for each community. But as we continue to gain traction and reputation within this field, we'll reach out to more partners to sell our product to, so that we eventually can reach a total annual recurring revenue of $1.5 million, a number that is rather conservative considering how many people need care around the world. We'll begin our pilot program in Southeast Asia, more specifically in Vietnam, where we've established contact with multiple volunteer groups who stated their interest to use our product. Using their feedback in the field, we'll continue to optimize our product so that we'll eventually reach South Asia, where 65% of people need glasses, but only 7% actually do. From here, we'll continue to expand into Sub-Saharan Africa and South America, where there's a widespread issue of lack of access. With our phoropter, we'll simultaneously dive into the phoropter and liquid lens market, which have a size of $150 million and $170 million respectively. However, the main innovation in our technology comes with our lenses. We can then break into the lenses market, as there are a magnitude of applications well beyond just the phoropter. And furthermore, as we provide prescription to our patients, we stand to capitalize from them needing lenses for their glasses as well, something we could do by partnering with local lens manufacturers. No matter how hard the journey may be, we'll continue to persevere, because here, we care for eye care. I want to take a moment to thank everybody who has helped us thus far in our journey. This is the picture billions of people see on a daily basis. However, join us in turning the page to a brighter future, as everybody deserves to see the little joys in life every day. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Mercury Marketplace. Mercury Marketplace, come on down. Over here.
So coming to college can be a difficult time. Some students fly halfway across the state, country, even the world to seek higher education. Meet Josie. She is a first-year student who just left her hometown to attend UT Austin. She's left her car, her family, her friends, but do you know what's even worse? She's left her braider behind, her nail tech, even her eyebrow lady across the street. And now she has to find all of these services from scratch and find a way to get there. Students already struggle enough looking for accessible and affordable products and services near campus, and student entrepreneurs are often met with limited marketing resources, scheduling difficulties, and they face challenges just getting their feet off the ground. Well, we have a solution for them. Introducing Mercury Marketplace, a centralized platform for students to exchange products and services and flourish financially. Let's get a new student like Josie signed up through her EDU student email.
Once Josie logs in, she can see the nearest student businesses around her, as well as the most recommended to her based on her previous purchases and interests identified. As Josie keeps on scrolling downwards, she can also see a proximity map. This allows her to see the exact distance and the exact location from her to the exact student businesses as well. Josie could select the exact categories and the exact ratings she prefers as well. Josie could also see the exact student services and the exact price levels for the services. And Josie could pick a specific date and time to book her appointment and then safely pay through our app. So, why Mercury? And why now? This is the perfect place to start right here and right now, especially because UT Austin is ranked the 9th highest in producing entrepreneurs in the US. And actually, on average, 61% of Gen Zers say they'd rather be entrepreneurs rather than employers after college. So we see a demand of entrepreneurship all around, and so this is the perfect place to start right here and right now. So we plan on capturing our market size in 3 steps. The first step is right here at UT. The second step is expanding across campuses all around Texas. We plan on doing this with college ambassadors. The third and final step is hopefully expanding all across the US.
So out of the hundreds of students that we've talked to, we've found that 87% of students prefer cheaper alternatives to the current service industry. 65% of students usually go back home for their services, and less than 50% of students have cars on campus. So this means that most of these students are just walking to where they need to get, and they lack reliable transportation. We currently have over 250 students waiting to join our platform and over 20 student entrepreneurs who are excited to be part of the Mercury community. As you can see on the left, Aruna and Mahim are just 2 examples of 2 student entrepreneurs who are excited to join our platform. So this really verifies that we do have a growing demand, and we really hope to make a true impact for students here on campus. So let's talk a little bit about the competition. We've talked to students on both the buyer and seller side, and we've found that most student entrepreneurs usually market themselves through platforms such as Instagram and Snapchat, but these posts often get lost. Social media has a very broad and varied user base, so it can be challenging for student entrepreneurs to really reach their target audience of students. And on top of that, they'd have to utilize third-party platforms for payments and scheduling, so which can be a bit of a hassle. We've done research on Etsy and Fiverr, but these platforms don't offer in-person services, and on top of that, they're not student-centric either. Platforms like Vagaro are really good for booking and scheduling in-person services, but then they don't promote any products, and they're also not exclusively for students. One platform we found that was for students is Roomy, so let's take a closer look at Roomy. So Roomy is currently marketed towards consumer goods and products. As you can see on the right, a lot of what they sell is secondhand goods and products, apparel, rentals, things like that. So Roomy does not target in-person services. On top of that, Rumi has not broken into the UT Austin space, which is why it's so important that we start here. And finally, Rumi is not community and entrepreneurship focused, which is really the type of community that Mercury is trying to build. So we're streamlining all of these processes into one centralized platform that has an integrated social network, in-person services, and is also exclusively for students.
So we have simplified our business model into two ways. The first is a marketplace model. This is where students pay for every transaction a 5% fee on our app. The next is a premium feature. This is optional for businesses to opt in for a higher paid search and a higher SEO ranking right on our page for just $8 a month. So to take a closer look on how our business model works, here's our projected first year profit. So let's assume that we get 15,000 first year consumers, and on average they spend $30 monthly. And there's 2 transactions per month, so if you do the math, the transaction fees revenue comes out to be $540,000. Now, looking closer into the student's business subscription, let's assume that 15% of our users opt in for the subscription. That comes out to be 2,250 subscribers, and if they're paying $8 per month all year round, then the premium subscription revenue comes out to be $216,000. Now, if you add all those numbers up and subtract the cost, our total approximate first year annual profit comes out to be $736,000. Here's a projected yearly market rate. So if we capture a whole market, we can make up to $914 million. This just shows how big the market is and the impact we're providing. So we hope to win $20,000 from this competition, and from that, $15,000 for product development, and the next $5,000 for go-to-market.
So let's talk a little bit about our team. My name is Monica Humagai, and I'm currently a senior majoring in economics and international relations.
Hi, my name is Arslan Bai, and I'm currently a junior majoring in management information systems.
And as college students like Josie, we understand the difficulties without a car and time to find basic products and services that are close by and affordable. And as student entrepreneurs ourselves, we also understand the difficulties of getting your business started, of starting that side hustle, right? And how hard it is to really reach your target audience. We're passionate about what we're building, so that's why our team is perfect for this solution.
A huge thank you to both our mentors, Ruben Cantu and Erica Hoskins, for the guided support and mentorship throughout our whole journey.
I want to end off by saying this. 39% of American adults currently have a side hustle, and 28% believe that they will always need one to make ends meet. So join Mercury in creating a space for micro student entrepreneurs to flourish in a way that gives back to the community and its students. If you like what we're trying to create, please scan the QR code for a quick survey. Thank you.
Okay. The next startup to the stage is Rezia. Welcome.
My name is Clay, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Rezia. We're going to start this off with a story. It's the story of my friends John and Sarah, and they are recent homeowners. John and Sarah decide we are going to redo our home. And so they go online and they start dreaming. They start putting together photos of a Pinterest board. They start designing. And so they go to the point where they call up a contractor. And he comes over and he says, hey, we need help renovating our kitchen. Can you help us? And they say, can you go make it look like our old home? They give him a bunch of these abstract, like, vibey design requirements, which mean absolutely nothing to the contractor. But he says yes because he wants to make money. And so he sends them on their way, and they say, how much is this going to cost us? And he says, 30, 50,000. And John and Sarah, they're like, what? Can you do a little bit better than that? And can you show us what it'll look like? And Joe says no. And he says, when can we get that contract signed? Because Joe wants to make money. And so he leaves their place. And we say, oh, we'll call him. And both parties know nobody's going to get called because there was this failure of Joe to actually sell his product. And so the reality is that there are 850,000 John and Sarahs all over the U.S. every single week. That's 45 million every single year, spending over $550 billion. And these homeowners are tapping into a network of over 750,000 contracting businesses. And so what this failure comes down to is that, so we go ahead and we conducted about 300 interviews with different contractors and homeowners. And we asked them one very simple question, which was, where do you believe the process begins? And the homeowners said it always started with the design. The contractors always said it started with the quote. And so what this ultimately leads us to is a 7.5% closing rate for most contractors. That means that 1 in 13 jobs that they go visit, they're going to close. And so contractors, they go in and they go buy these leads. They cost about $100 a pop, and that's just for a phone number. They give them a ring. They're going to land 1 in 4. So it's about $400 to step foot inside somebody's house. Remember, they're going to 13 different jobs before they're closing, so that's $5,500 that they've sunk in before the project even begins. Then you have $5,200. That's about the time that they are actually spending, because remember, contractors service huge areas. They're driving at least an hour to each one of these job sites. And their time is valuable, and so that's the number we came up with. And then finally, after it's done, clients like to change things. And this ultimately leads to a loss of about $5,000 per project. And that's $31 billion annually just of material costs that are lost because of reinstalls, change orders, et cetera. And so all in, we did the math, and it's about $15,500 is about the amount that we can save a contractor per project. And so here we can kind of show you what this actually looks like. So we're going in, and homeowners, they're uploading the images of their different projects, right? They go in, they have a style selection already preset. They can cycle through all of these different styles. They can also upload their own reference images. Within seconds, we get these new designs. But we know that design is an iterative process, so we actually allow them to go change these. And so whenever they change them, we're also enabling them to go actually search these different distributor databases for specific products that they can integrate. And so within, 120 seconds, we have an actual design for it. But we know that that design costs money, right? Which is why people are so hesitant to begin this whole thing. And so we integrated a feature where these homeowners can actually get trusted line-by-line estimates for the whole thing. And if the homeowners are coming to the platform directly, they're able to post it to a marketplace, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And so I know what you're thinking is surely somebody has thought of this, but the reality is all of this stuff is, remodeling is completely overlooked in the AEC tech industry. And so we have a lot of design software, but it's completely inaccessible to the average consumer, which is you guys. There are lots of estimation softwares, but again, they're only available to contractors and build professionals. And then there are connection softwares that essentially just enable the user to just say, oh, I want a new porch. And so a contractor then has to call them, and they all have to, it's a real, how do you say, it's a real battle to actually win these over, right? And so what we started to get to here is that it's like this inkling of an ecosystem, right? So we're integrating the homeowners, the contractors who build, and the suppliers who give them the materials. And so this leads us into our monetization strategy. We just made our first sale literally last week, right before we went on to the semifinals pitch. And we sold it to a contractor for $1,000 for a 30-day beta. And basically, it just enables them to go quote these leads better and increase their closure rates. We're in talks with multiple local distributors or suppliers to actually port their products into the database. And then ultimately, what we really want to do is market the freemium platform to homeowners. Because that's really who has the highest need at the end of the day. And so things we've done. This summer, we went through the SEAL Accelerator here at UT. We incorporated. We conducted hundreds of customer interviews. We made an MVP. Go check it out. We had customers try that MVP, and they loved it so much they were willing to pay us, which is nice. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, what we do right now is we help contractors save hundreds of thousands of dollars annually We bridge the design disconnect between the homeowner and the builder, and we can make a lot of money doing it. But that's not all. And I did not actually know I was going to be able to present this today, but I'm so excited to be able to do this. Because renovations are just the beginning of what we're building. So at its core, Resia does three things. We connect design, information, and people, right? And to build something, an image only goes so far, right? We can integrate these products, but that doesn't translate to a buildable thing. And so we're excited to announce Resia Build, which essentially what we can do here is we can go in, and because we don't want to do renovations, we're looking at actually creating floor plans for new single-family home builds. We're able to do 3D modeling, so extruding those into the third dimension. Then we can render those in the second dimension, right? And then we can recursively take those new generations, we can furnish them, so we know where these products are placed and beyond like the envelope of the home, and then repopulate our 3D model, which gets very exciting for a number of reasons. And technically, I was supposed to end here, but I'll continue. I think I have a couple minutes. So this is sort of the new logic that we're following, because we said here that we have this ecosystem, right? But the reality is this is so reductive, right? We know that there are so many stakeholders in building any given thing, right? They go beyond contractors have to get their supplies from somewhere. They manage these huge crews of people that do different work, and the industry is super antiquated because all of the tech gets blue collar, nobody adopts it. And so really this is what the industry actually looks like. And nobody is really capable of actually aggregating all of this data. It is a complete mess. And so at the core of machine learning, we begin to actually be able to assign these probabilistic estimates for these different things, right? And so when we get into like why we're building the thing, we know that design is fundamental to being human, right? And so we enable these clients to actually design things and design them well and to their taste. Because let's be frank, you go outside and you look at buildings and they are lackluster and they are built spec and it's monotonous and it's boring. But also it's not sustainable because our supply chain is completely disconnected. We have no way of actually integrating all of this data. If I wanted to build a house in Austin, right? Like the sustainable thing would to build it out of wood. But if that wood is sourced from South America, it's shipped in through California, processed in Minnesota, tied into CLT in New Mexico, and then it's shipped to Texas where it sits in storage and all of this. It would have been much better to just design the building out of limestone. And so what we can really do is actually integrate this positive model bias, which is why we're so excited about this new modality of design. But not only that, but we can also actually change like this, which is true monotonous design, right? And so here we are, we're at Resia, where we're automating information and bridging design and people. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Bloom Technologies. Come on down.
$527,396. According to a study conducted by the Rhodium Group in partnership with Bloomberg News, this figure represents the number of pounds of CO2 emissions that are emitted into the atmosphere every single second. Right there and right there. With that being said, welcome to Bloom. Bloom is a sustainability management software that your company needs to turn this previous figure back to zero. My name is Ruth Vic-Jonah, and let's get started. So what exactly is the problem that companies are facing in the sustainability space today? Well, there are three key considerations. First, we have the growing complexity of ESG compliance. Next, we have supply chain inefficiencies. And lastly, we have the idea that there's not a uniform platform out there to track sustainability data. So let's dive right in, starting off with the growing complexity of ESG compliance. According to the World Business Council of Sustainable Development, there are over 2,400 ESG regulations worldwide. But the thing is that what you choose to comply with and what your obligations are can vary from company to company, and it depends on a variety of different factors, such as your geographic region, your activity type, and much more. And this is problematic for companies because they don't know their exact compliance obligations, which is not only posing a problem for themselves, but also for their governing companies or governing bodies, and also for the environment as a whole. Next, let's take a look at supply chain inefficiencies. In recent years, supply chain inefficiencies have become a much more common phenomenon, especially due to higher switching costs that have stemmed from the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions, they have risen since the pandemic has kind of ended, especially Scope 3 emissions. And let me tell you, Scope 3 emissions are almost virtually impossible to measure. And only 15% of companies report this data, but they make up 71% of all of global greenhouse gas emissions. And I'll tell you right now, that's a little bit concerning. And now let's take a look at the idea that there's not a uniform platform out there when it comes to tracking your sustainability metrics. As of now, companies may use spreadsheet solutions, an in-house sustainability management team, which is kind of expensive, right? External consultants, which is even more expensive, and various fragmented software solutions, which I'm telling you right now is not cohesive when it comes to putting together a proper ESG solution. And so with that being said, we introduced Bloom. Bloom is a sustainability management platform that helps you with, or helps your business, honestly, with accomplishing 3 main tasks. 1, track your sustainability metrics. 2, report your pertinent data. And 3, with forecasting your future ESG performance. And we want to do this by doing 2 main things: reducing your company's environmental impact, but also maximizing its company's profitability, mainly through reducing costs. But how does Bloom plan on developing and delivering the solution to its customers? Well, let's start off with intelligent reporting with regulatory updates. As of now, Bloom simplifies the complex landscape of ESG regulations, mainly because it aligns its functionalities with both international and regional sustainability reporting frameworks. On top of this, we also have targeted web scraping embedded within our platform, so whenever ESG regulations have changes made to them by lawmakers in real time, we have it updated within our platform as well, so consumers have the most up-to-date information. Additionally, we're also tackling the idea of supply chain inefficiencies through our data and predictive analytics dashboard. We've also embedded sustainable procurement analytics within this platform, and that allows for companies to understand where are their issues in their value chain, but most importantly, how can they improve upon those issues. And from there, Bloom consolidates a variety of different sustainability functions within a single platform, which kind of, when I say it, I mean it, that we become that one single source platform that companies can use when it comes to tackling the problem that we call climate change today. So let me walk you through our demo. Right here is our landing page, and at the top right, you can click on the login screen, and for the sake of simplicity, we're going to walk in through Google. And once we log in, the left-hand side, you can see the reporting, analytics, and forecasting features. At the bottom, you can click on the GRI standards, and you generated a GRI report with the sample data that we already have. Here, you could choose to adjust the settings as you see fit based off your company's needs. And now let's move on to the analytics tab. Here, we're working with carbon footprint numbers. And so you could choose to track your carbon footprint by location, by scope 1, 2, and 3 specifically. And let's take a look at these specific tabs. Direct emissions correlates with scope 1, utilities associates with scope 2, and procurement associates with scope 3. We've also embedded artificial intelligence technology within our platform, which you can see right there and right here. Because we want you to be able to optimize not only your business strategy, but also your supply chain operations. Right here is your data aggregation tab. You could choose to upload manually specific data points that you find, specific data points that are relating to your sustainability metrics. But at the end of the day, you can also just integrate with QuickBooks. And so we've already established the integration within QuickBooks. So if you have data that's already within QuickBooks, we can fetch that data over to Bloom, and you can click on your data aggregation tab, and this is a bunch of sample data. And this will tell you, for example, how much did an entry in your QuickBooks account, what was the carbon footprint of that? And so you can see right there, for these legal and professional fees, we can see what was the estimated carbon footprint that was generated from that. Next, we can take a look at the forecasting tab, and you can see not only the overview, the risk performance, but you can also set goals for your future as well. And so with that being said, go ahead to our website and join our waitlist today. But let's go ahead and look at this buyer persona that we're trying to integrate, specifically B2B. I want to start off by saying that we're targeting small and medium-sized enterprises, and the key word there is enterprises, because enterprises are companies that tend to have investors or stakeholders that they must please. And what better way to please your investors than to be taking green initiatives, such as partnering with us? Next, we're targeting North America and Western European companies, and the reason for that is because the regulations seem to be strictest in these 2 areas, specifically in Western Europe, because a lot of those regulations seem to be mandatory. And lastly, we're also targeting companies within high climate impact industries. And how we define high climate impact industries is as follows: the energy sector, technology sector, transportation sector, and the manufacturing sector. And now let's analyze our target market. Bloom is targeting small and medium-sized enterprises, as I've mentioned before, and they make up approximately 90% of all businesses today. So if you want me to give you a number, I can say 300 million businesses is our total addressable market. But when it comes to our serviceable addressable market, we're talking about businesses, specifically SMEs, within the high climate impact industries, but also SMEs in North America and Western Europe. And that comes out to roughly 8 million businesses. From there, our serviceable obtainable market sits at around 121,000 businesses. And these are businesses that we believe fit all the previous qualifications, but are also seeking private equity investment or are already backed by private equity investment. Now let's take a look at our competitors. When you take a look at our competitors, it can be seen that Bloom is a significant player in this space. But let me tell you why. Starting off, not only does Bloom allow for AI capabilities, predictive sustainability modeling, holistic sustainability tracking, but where we separate from our competitors is that we allow for dynamic benchmarking against real-time data. So let me give you an example. Let's say we're working with a manufacturing firm and they notice a gas leak within their firm. Instead of waiting a whole month for their utility bill to come into play, and when they realize that they've lost a lot of money because of this gas leak, instead, if they just integrate within our platform, they could see the actual carbon footprint numbers as well, see how much money that they could potentially be losing in real time, and they could choose to solve that source of the abnormality ahead of time within a matter of days, maybe hours, maybe even a few minutes when you choose to catch it. And also, when it comes to our pricing standards, I'll get a lot more into detail about that, but this is because we're targeting SMEs. Meanwhile, the other competitors are targeting larger corporations. Now, let's take a look at our pricing structure. Right now, we operate on a subscription-based revenue model with a basic plan and also a Bloom Plus, otherwise known as our premium plan. The basic plan is priced at $275 a month, and this is specifically for smaller enterprises, and our premium plan is priced at $350 a month. That's geared towards our medium-sized enterprises. And you can see the differences as well. We're talking about context-driven AI recommendations, customized reports, and also real-time data integration as well. When we take a look at our 5-year financial projection, these numbers seem to be pretty lofty, but I believe we can get to them. We hope to launch our product in 2025, and we currently project $330,000 in revenue in 2025 and $61,500 in profit when it comes down to all the costs that we'll incur. And I can show you the numbers much more in the appendix, but 4 years later, or 5 years later actually, we hope to generate $31 million in revenue in 2029 and $5.5 million in profit as well. Now let me share with you some of the traction that we've kind of shown since our inception of January 2023. We've completed our alpha testing. We're in the process of our beta testing right now. We've raised over $21,000 in non-dilutive funding since our inception. We've partnered with key sustainability organizations and entrepreneurship centers, and we've also been able to conduct customer interviews with green investment funds, private equity firms, leading consulting firms to help us understand how Bloom can break into this market. And when it comes to our GTM strategy, our main strategy right now is to talk to and speak with private equity firms, partner with private equity firms, and become their go-to ESG solution that they tell their portfolio companies to follow. And by doing that, it makes a lot of sense of where Bloom can break in because that's where they get the money, and that's where companies can choose to make money as well. And so we want to develop PE partnerships, tailored pricing solutions for our initial customers, and from there, it's all about building our brand equity. And that includes case studies, thought leadership, customer success, and onwards. Our team comprises of me. I'm currently studying at the University of Texas. I'm studying MIS, and I'm also double majoring in sustainability studies as well, just to let you guys know. But when it comes to my experience, I also have experience working with deep learning software with NVIDIA. My co-founder's working at Purdue, or he's studying at Purdue, and he's studying CS and AI. And when it comes to it, check out our website at bloomtechnologies.app and help us help you bloom your business today. Thank you.
All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. I hope all of you were as inspired as I was by many of the presentations today. It was a really outstanding group of startups to get to learn about and get inspired by. So thank you to all the presenters today. It was a real treat to get to watch those. This was certainly not an easy deliberation. We had a long, thorough conversation in the green room in the back, but the judges have come to their decision. So I'll be sharing the results in just a second. But in terms of the process, how this will work is when I call up your startup to the stage, I'll have you come up, we'll hand you a check, we'll take a quick picture, and then the judges will be providing some individualized feedback to your startup. So hang around for that, and then we'll kind of move on down the line. All right, so without further ado, the fourth place award for the 2024 Freed Family Pitch Competition goes to Rezia. Okay, in third place, we have Mercury Marketplace. Okay, so now we are down to our first and second place awards. Before I announce the winner, I'd like to commend all of you for your hard work and the drive that it took to make it this far. Stories like yours motivate us to create resources and opportunities and events like this. We're incredibly proud of all of you. So we are going to announce first the first place winner and then the second place winner. So your 2024 Freed Family Pitch Competition grand prize winner of $20,000 is iCare. That means the second place prize of $10,000 goes to Bloom Technologies. Okay, we are not done yet, though. We have 2 elevator pitch awards to present. So first, we're going to present the elevator pitch award based on the judge ratings. And please make sure I've got the right one for which is which. Yeah. So the elevator pitch award based on the judge ratings is Cura. Congratulations to our finalists and all of our competitors today. I want to take a moment to thank all of our judges for dedicating their time and for sharing their perspective and feedback. That's incredibly valuable. I want to thank all of you in the audience for coming today. I want to thank again the Freed family for endowing this really fun, exciting, and inspiring competition. So we have a little bit of a reception in the atrium, so you all can head out there. But I would ask that today's winners and judges please stay back for some photos before we adjourn out to the atrium. But for everyone else, you're dismissed. Thank you again for coming. We hope to see you next year.